Manchester City officially out of the title race following our loss to Manchester United in Old Trafford on Saturday afternoon? The short answer is no for me. I was feeling very doom and gloom following the Manchester derby, and I think I was the same as a lot of City fans. A lot of us were saying, no, it's done. We're playing too poorly. We're 8 points behind Arsenal now. It can't be done. Yada, yada, yada. The dust has settled. I feel a lot better about myself, and I was thinking about this title race. And the first thing that came to my mind was this is possibly the most exciting title race in terms of more clubs involved, more clubs playing well consistently. There's newcomers on the block now at Newcastle, and I've got the league table up here in front of me. Arsenal obviously 8 points clear of us. United's win on Saturday has put them 1 point behind us. They are in the mixer. They're level on points with Newcastle on 38. Obviously they have a game in hand though. This is a serious title race. I mean, in terms of top four clubs, the likes of Tottenham, Chelsea, Liverpool, it doesn't bode well. It's not looking good because you'd like to think that three of those top four spots are now taken up by Arsenal, City and United and possibly Newcastle now too. So is the top four race even still an open thing? Is that even a conversation? That's for you guys to let me know down in the comments. Obviously Fulham, Brighton, Brentford are all ahead of Liverpool and Chelsea, who sit in 9th and 10th. But listen, as far as the title race goes, Arsenal are looking strong. Arsenal are looking really goddamn good, aren't they? I mean, I think they've only lost as a one game this season to Man United, and United will take a lot of comfort and excitement from the fact that they have already beaten Arsenal this season. Massive tie between those two coming up this Sunday. We kind of need United to do us a favour. That's kind of the fence that I sit on. I would rather United beat Arsenal, take points of Arsenal, and maybe humble them a little bit or give them a little bit of a scare, because they haven't had many scares. But you can't fault them. You can't fault Arsenal. They have been playing electric football. They look so much like we did during our false nine campaigns where we won the leagues there. Fluid football, flawless, leaders all over the pitch, technically great players, finishers. They're a real team. They're a real unit. United playing with real unity as well. They're playing for each other. They're playing for Ten Hag. They've got a new spark at Old Trafford they haven't had a long time. Newcastle doing their thing too. And then there's the problems that Manchester City have. City have had a season of consistently poor performances or underwhelming poor performances, poor selections from Pep Guardiola, lack of hunger at times by the looks of it, complacency, players not wanting to be there. Some of them, evidently, Bernardo Silva doesn't want to be there. I mean, like I said after the derby on Saturday, I think I can only count two players that really looked like they gave a shit, and that was Rodri and Jack Grealish. Are we out of this title race? Absolutely not. Absolutely not, as far as I'm concerned. Do I still believe we can win it? Like I said on Saturday as well, less so. I'm less confident and less optimistic based on the evidence we have so far this season and based on performances this season. But this is still Manchester City you're talking about. I mean, I don't like to refer back to seasons so far gone because they're not relevant, different teams. But I've seen crazier things happen than a team as good as Manchester City catch up 8 points on Arsenal to win the league. We've been 12, 13 points behind Liverpool at times. We were 8 points behind United with 6 games to go in 2012 and went on to win the league. There's now 20 games to go. There's 20 games to go. There's 2 fixtures between Arsenal and City to go. We have to go to their place. They have to come to ours. Granted, they will be looking at both those fixtures with high levels of excitement and hunger, especially after the way it finished last year on New Year's Day, where we nicked a goal in the last minute to beat them 2-1. We did know after that something was building at Arsenal. Something was bubbling. Arteta was cooking up something. He was in the lab with his lab coat on. He had his test tubes out. He had all his potions, mixing them together. We knew something was coming, and it has arrived. It has come. It has arrived probably quicker than we anticipated, but it's here, and you can't really knock them because they're doing great, aren't they? But we're not out. There's still 20 games to go. Like I said, we play them twice. They have to play Man United this weekend. But as far as we're concerned, to catch them, things need to change. And I've had a lot of thoughts about how we can change this and what Pep could possibly do. And I don't claim to be any form of a tactical genius or I know better than Pep Guardiola, but it's just food for thought. And as always, please do get down below in the comments and let me know what you think and everything I'm saying now. Obviously, big question marks over whether Erling Haaland is making us a better team or a worse team. I don't even know. I can't make my mind up, because if he wasn't delivering all the goals, I'd be saying he's possibly making us a worse team, because the team's not playing the way we used to. There's nothing fluid. There's nothing fluent. It's not free flowing. Players sometimes don't know what they're doing. Pep's also insisting on both fullbacks, or at least one fullback on both wingers, inverting. You've got a double pivot most of the time, which is without being labelled a double pivot, in Rodri and Bernardo in the derby anyway. Bernardo was far, far too deep for my liking. And then when Rico Lewis plays, he plays alongside Rodri in the centre of the park. So there's too many players in the middle of the park as far as I'm concerned. So there's not enough room for the likes of De Bruyne to flourish, the likes of Gundo to flourish, maybe Foden to flourish, where these are the kind of players that thrive on space. There's room around them. They can pick passes. They can be creative and express themselves. They don't have that. The shackles are on these creative players as far as I'm concerned. A lot of people nitpicking at De Bruyne, like, why is his form so poor? Has he lost the hunger? Has he not got it in his legs anymore? I think personally he's a victim of the system. He's not flourishing because he's too congested. There's too much going on around Kevin De Bruyne in these tight, intricate spaces that he flourishes in. Now, going back to the Haaland point, Haaland has to make the decision. Does he want to come back, drop deep and get involved and build a play, which we saw a bit of him do against United, to absolutely no positive effect? Haaland, at this minute in time, he is not a build-up player. He does not have the technical ability to get involved in that intricate play that I'm talking about. We don't need Haaland doing that. It is up to these players that I've named, De Bruyne, Foden, Grealish, Bernardo, Mahrez, etc., to provide service for Haaland. But when that's not working, and teams like Man United have done, locked us down and cut off the supply route to Erling Haaland, he was making run after run and getting absolutely no service. There has to be a plan B. It seems like there is no plan B. Am I saying drop Haaland? I'm not sure. But what I would like to see tried is maybe the false nine system again. I know it seems wild. I am genuinely open to the possibility of not playing Haaland against Spurs on Thursday, at least not starting, and going back to a potential false nine system. Maybe you put Foden in the false nine, put Bernardo in the false nine, put De Bruyne in the false nine. We've seen this before. And then once we have tired out Spurs, or I'm talking about it in future games in general, but Spurs more specifically, because that's the next one. Once we've tired them out with our old style of football, knocking around, more space, free-flowing, fluent football, then you bring on Haaland in the last 20 minutes to just penetrate, to then finish off those chances, as the Spurs back five, as they usually play, is absolutely worn out. It's a tough conversation, but this is just how we fix it. And these are the only conclusions I can come to, is that you take Haaland off and just go back to literal basics, what has worked for us, what has clicked for us in recent years? Or do you leave Haaland on and just hope that the players that are on the pitch that are struggling to find him and create chances for him can start doing that? I don't know. We're running out of time to rely on that as far as I'm concerned. I think I would like to see what I'm suggesting. False nine and bring Haaland on with half an hour to go when if we potentially need a goal or to kill off the game. I'm thinking of how we can fix this. I think the reintroduction of Ruben Diaz will be absolutely massive. I genuinely felt on Saturday there was absolutely no leaders on the pitch. Rodri to an extent. Grealish came on and offered leadership. He did. Maybe Walker, but there was no real leadership. There was no focal point on the pitch where you say, this is the guy who's going to drag us through the trenches, drag us to a win here, see out the game when we're 1-0 up. We need Ruben Diaz. We really need Ruben Diaz back on the pitch with the captain's armband on as well. I don't want Gundo to start. I want Foden to be in the middle of the park, but I need Ruben Diaz back on the pitch with the captain's armband, and I need John Stones beside him. Back to what we know, back to what works. And these are just my thoughts. I'm not saying this is what has to happen and Haaland has to be dropped. He's not good enough. I'm just saying, with the lack of consistent good performances this season, maybe it's time to try out something, or no, it's not even trying out. It's to go back to something that we know has worked and see have we still got that in our toolbox. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, because we're going to have to do something. We're going to have to do something if we want to stop Arsenal. I mean, we're relying heavily. If we stick to what we're doing now, we're relying heavily on this system we're using right now, just clicking and banging. It can't just click and we see it working for a little bit and then it falls off again. No, it has to click and bang and stick for the next 20 Premier League games to win this title, because Arsenal are steaming. Arsenal are absolutely rocketing ahead in this league. 47 points out of 18 games is outrageous. So listen, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. United obviously in the race too, I would say too. To be fair to them, they are in the race, especially if they beat Arsenal this weekend. Let me know who you want to win. Arsenal versus Man United on Sunday afternoon. Going to be a smashing game, no doubt. Two teams in great form. The race is on, people. The race is on. City fans, don't lose faith. The players are there. The players are definitely there. It's just a matter of getting the mindset back in check, Pep getting the system back in check, figuring out what works and getting it to stick, getting some consistency, getting a rhythm, getting a flow, getting all that stuff that we've seen in recent years. I saw a thing on Twitter today, a memory of when we won 21 games in a row, and I was going, oh, give me that again. Listen, I believe I've still got the faith that we can finish this season with a major trophy, whether that's Premier League or Champions League. I think we can do it. I genuinely do. So let me know all your thoughts down below in the comments and everything I've said. System-wise, title race-wise, it's definitely a massively interesting conversation. Please do leave a quick like on the video. It's free to do, and it massively helps the channel grow. We're on the road to 5K, so do subscribe if you're new too, and we'll see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Good night and God bless.
Listen to your heart, tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart, tell me that you